Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about some of the important points of projectile motion. Okay, first point is the horizontal component of velocity remains constant all along, since acceleration due to gravity has no component along the horizontal. So if you observe here, this is a projectile motion. This is the path of the projectile. That is a parabola. So the initial velocity of the projectile divided into two components. One is along horizontal direction. So another one is along vertical direction. Horizontal component of velocity is u cos theta. Vertical component of velocity is u sin theta. Okay. So what is the first point here? The horizontal component of velocity remains constant all along. So what is the horizontal component of velocity? U cos theta. U cos theta is remains constant throughout the motion. It does not change. Gravitational force does not act on the horizontal component of velocity. That's why this horizontal velocity does not change throughout the motion. Okay, it remains constant. So what is the next point? Next point is the vertical component of velocity goes on decreasing during the ascent. Second point is goes on increasing during the descent, becomes zero at the highest point. What's the first? The vertical component of velocity goes on decreasing. So uh, in time of ascent means the time taken by the body to reach maximum height from the initial point. So this is time of ascent. So in this time of ascent, vertical component of velocity goes on decreasing. U sin theta goes on decreasing up to maximum point, maximum height. At this maximum height it becomes zero. So what is the zero? Vertical component of velocity becomes zero at maximum height. After that, the vertical component of velocity goes on increasing. So after maximum height, the vertical component of velocity goes on increasing. So this is horizontal component of velocity, this is vertical component of velocity. Okay, this is the second point. So next, third point is the velocity of a projectile is maximum at projection point. The velocity of a projectile is maximum at projection point equal to u, and velocity of the projectile is minimum at highest point. The velocity of the projectile is maximum at projection point. It's the initial point. It has maximum velocity. It has minimum velocity at highest point. Okay. The change in velocity. The fourth point is the change in velocity of the projectile is equal to 2u sin theta. So what is the change in velocity means? If you subtract final velocity and initial velocity. So what is the final velocity? Here we are considering only vertical component of velocity. So it has initial velocity at this point. It has final velocity at this point. So if you subtract these two, we get change in velocity. Okay. Here we are talking about only vertical component of velocity, but the change in horizontal component of velocity is zero. Why it is zero? There is no change in horizontal velocity. That's why the change in horizontal velocity is zero. Delta Vx is equal to 0. So what is delta Vy? The change in velocity. Vf minus Vi, the final velocity minus initial velocity. So what is the final velocity? U sin theta. So u sin theta minus into minus u sin theta. So why it is minus? Initial velocity, final velocity directions are different. So initial velocity direction is in upward direction, final velocity direction is downward direction. That's why I am using negative. So u sin theta minus into minus sin theta. So u sin theta minus into minus plus u sin theta. U sin theta plus u sin theta 2u sin theta. So this is the change in vertical component of velocity. But what is the change in horizontal component of velocity? Delta Vx. Delta Vx is equal to 0. There is no change in horizontal velocity. That's why delta Vx is equal to 0. So similarly, the change in momentum. The change in momentum. The change in momentum means in vertical direction, vertical component. In vertical component direction, what is the change in momentum? So we know the velocity. What is the velocity? 2u sin theta. So we can find momentum easily. What is the momentum formula? mv. So already we know the v value. What is the v? 2u sin theta. So how can we write momentum? M into 2u sin theta, that is 2mu sin theta. This is a change in momentum vertically. This is note 5. Next, note 6. So what is note 6? Average velocity of the projectile during the entire journey. So in this total journey, what is the average velocity of the projectile? Okay, what is the average velocity? So what is the average velocity formula? Already we have studied in previous chapter, motion is straight line. What is the average velocity? Average velocity is total displacement per total time. This is the formula of average velocity. So here what is total displacement? What is the displacement formula? The shortest distance between initial point and final point. The shortest distance between initial point and final point is displacement. So if you observe this figure, what is the initial point? This is the initial point, this is the final point. The shortest distance, this straight line is shortest distance. Okay, this shortest distance, this line is equal to range. So in this situation, this displacement equal to range of the projectile. That's why I have written total displacement is range. So what is total time? Total time means total traveling time of projectile. The distance traveled by the total distance traveled by the projectile. The time taken by the projectile to travel total distance. That is time of flight. And that is also called as total time. So total time we can write total time T is equal to TA plus TD. TA means time of ascent, TD is time of descent. If we add these two, we get time of flight, total time. That time of flight is equal to total time of the projectile. So I have written total time is equal to time of flight, range by time of flight. What is the formula of range? What is the formula of range? That is product of horizontal component of velocity and time of flight. So this is the range formula. What is the formula? U cos theta into T. U cos theta, this is the horizontal component of velocity. T is time of flight by time of flight. So TT will get cancelled. What is the remaining term? U cos theta. So what is the average velocity? This is the average velocity of the projectile. Average velocity of the projectile is equal to horizontal component of velocity. Okay, what is the average velocity? Average velocity equal to u cos theta. We get here u cos theta. Okay, next topics we will see in next video. Okay, thank you.